Now, the point is they've agreed on 70,000. Both the private sector and the public sector should do what is necessary to make that policy to be implemented. But this is now the way forward. We cannot actually get to 200,000, 300,000. We will get to hyperinflation. So that is not recommended. But this is what I felt Mr. President should start looking at or should start considering now. They've actually agreed on minimum wage. No going back there. But can we start agreeing or focusing on infrastructural development that will ensure that cost is being saved in some sector? For instance, now, imagine if 80% houses in Nigeria, they are all powered with the hydroelectricity of a thing. Imagine many Nigerians does not have to depend on generator to power their house, meaning that someone that is actually engaging on what's it called, someone that is actually collecting 70,000 naira may save up to like 40,000 naira on fuel, and that will actually make him or her to actually save or avoid the inflation that comes around or the issue that comes around buying fuel. That's number one. Number two, I think the president has to go beyond what we call political promises. Yes, the president promised us that there will be public transport, but up to date, I don't think many public transport are strong enough to cater for the needs of Nigeria. Instead of Nigerians depending on private ridership, at least going to work should be more about public transport. Let's assume now, if you are going to go travel or go to your workplace with 10,000 naira per week, if there is a public transport, a mass transportation, at least that 20,000 naira can be up like around 5,000 naira. So as a result of that, you've already saved 15,000 naira, and that will also encourage that 70,000 naira to be meaningful. Now, another aspect I believe President Bola Ahmed Tinubu should actually consider, he should also consider the security issue in the country. Because honestly, if security issue in the country is adequately dealt with and is handled professionally, number one of those things that we have in the country, we have better food production. There will be agricultural production, and through agricultural production, one thing that will be guaranteed is that Nigeria will record massive exportation, because agricultural productivity has been boosted or has been boosted. Automatically we have more export. When we have more exports, automatically we are going to get our naira to get strengthened, and the more our naira is strengthened, the better the value of our naira, both in the local market and in the international market. So to me, so that my brother can talk, to me, I believe that the 70,000 naira of a thing, not really debate, go back and forth on it. They've agreed. These are the people that agree on these are intelligent people, those exposed than us, those people that consult multiple different organizations whatsoever before they reach an agreement. But our president should start focusing on what will make life better, and what we also avoid us having multiple spending or unpredictable spending. Because in Nigeria you can buy a bag of rice for 80,000 naira. In the next month, you are not so sure that you will buy it for 100,000 naira.
Why?
So, price mechanism, if it is in place and other things are in place, I believe then we shouldn't have a reason to bother until 2027. So we should keep watching what they will actually do there.
Nice one. Nice one. You've spoken very well. That's very good analytics. I'm gonna commend you for that. But the truth is, I just want to pick up some few things. The truth is, Nigerians are really suffering, really suffering and so much. And the government is actually playing deaf eyes to all these things. And you commend the government so much, and you shouldn't do that at all. The government has actually failed a lot. And also, even the private sectors have also failed also, because the private sector are looking for a way not to pay their staff. They are underpaying them. Then they are owing them months of work without any wages, without any reward. So what the most important thing is, and when it comes to food, Nigeria does not actually really support farming. because like in the Western world, if you go into farming, oh, louder, okay. Like in the Western world, if you go into farming and when you harvest your crop, the government buy the product from you, and so there's no way as a farmer you're going to be losing. There's no loss, and with that, you see enough food. The government is actually subsidizing those payments to help the country. But in Nigeria, our major problem is we do not regulate price. Price is not being regulated in Nigeria. So either you increase minimum wage to 200,000 or to 80,000 naira, the price will continue to spike up because the government does not regulate the price. Anybody can just go to the market and say, oh, my product is 100 naira and tomorrow is 500 naira. You see the spike? That's pretty high. Nobody's gonna question why is the increase or what's the increase. I was doing a property in Nigeria and they bought a bag of cement for the same in the morning. In the afternoon, I went to buy the same bag of cement in the same place. It has increased to 2,500. From 1,005 to 2,500. The truth is, the government does not regulate the price. Even if they increase minimum wage to 200,000 naira, it's still the same thing. Still the same thing.
Yes. Okay. I actually agree with your point that we don't actually have a good price control system. I agree with you. But you see, sometimes when we actually having a blame funnel, we always want to put everything on the government. We don't want to come down to a certain level. And the government is even for the people, by the people, and I've forgotten the third one. Number one, those elected, we agree that they are not doing well. But even those at the bottom, which are we populace, we are not also doing very well. Let me talk about price control mechanism. Is one thing for the government to actually enact a price control mechanism. Is another thing for compliance to exist. And I can tell you that the biggest problem we have in Nigeria actually today is compliance.
No. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If the government, if a system that works, if the government says this is the price for regulation, this is the price for this particular product according to what it is in the market, you cannot go and increase the price now. Now there's a regulation that governs it. And for government to be able to have that kind of optimal control to price.
Difficult. Why is it difficult? Is because if our market system is a highly formalized market system, what you are saying is practical and is possible.
As in an idea,
yes. Our agricultural sector is highly informalized. Do you get it? It's not a centralized agricultural system or a formalized agricultural system. So that makes it harder for price control to actually happen. So that means that if we actually want to have a way forward, honestly, let's even put price, there is a way price control itself. Do you know there is a way price control itself automatically?
Manipulating the market. Anybody can manipulate the market with anything. Yes. That's you can even manipulate the market with a disaster. You can just anybody can manipulate the market. So we know that.
So the first thing is that, which I said earlier, the first solution to inflation in Nigeria is for us to ensure that the foundational problem we are having, in the country is first to ensure that we solve it. And that's why I said, number one, imagine if every Nigerian have light in their house. One thing there is that.
So let me tell you something. Let me cut it short. The truth is, Nigerian cannot and never, forget prayers or no prayers, have good infrastructure in Nigeria when it comes to light, when it comes to water, when it comes to all these things. In the Western world, their major source of generating power supply is nuclear, which Nigeria cannot operate because of the security. The only thing that we can do is either windmill or gas or hydro. And how many megawatts can we produce to be able to meet the demand of the people? It's not possible. Even food. I'm coming. Even food. The number of food we produce in Nigeria that the farmers are producing will not be enough to feed the Nigerians that are here. So that's why we still import. Everything in Nigeria, every sector in Nigeria we import. There's nothing we do not import because there's nothing we can produce. I'm coming. Hold on. There is nothing that we can produce. There's no particular thing that we can produce that can actually meet the demand of the population in Nigeria. Nothing. So which probably means that everything in Nigeria, every single thing in Nigeria is being imported to the extent of tomatoes.
Okay. I partly agree with you because looking at what you said, you're actually talking about what is on ground currently. However, your analysis of what is on ground currently should not overrule what is possible. Because
prediction.
The first essence of having a leader is that a visionary leader. A leader should be a pragmatic leader. A leader should be one that can make the important. And that's why some people believe President Bola Tinubu is actually one of those people that can, get it done. Now, that is in government. What we are saying is this. Number one, we cannot go back to the talk of minimum wage. Let's get that right. What is now the way forward? The way forward is that the issues on ground, a good president who can be considered as a good leader should start solving some of these issues one by one. We are not saying that you should get it 100%. There is a metric, there are metrics to gauge the progress of government. We are not saying, oh, we need public transport, get it for us 100%. No, we are not saying that. Oh, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we need agricultural productivity, get it for us. No, we are saying that it's high time we start laying the foundation to curbing cost in the country. And I told you there are 3 critical sectors in Nigeria that if it is not solved, the problem of minimum wage will continue and the problem of protest will continue. The first
say if you are making an analysis, you're making analysis based on the past and based on what is happening right now. Even if you are doing a predictive model, you're trying to make a predictions, it is still based on the past. You can't just assume based on miracle or based on assumption. It's based on facts. That's the reason why I'm telling you in detail. I said Nigeria cannot. The only reason that can be possible, if each government that comes into power focus on one agenda. If I want to work on light, let me work on light. You cannot be doing 20-point agenda and you end up not finishing one project. Do you understand? Because the truth is, the only reason why Nigerian is not our value of our naira is totally devalued right now, it's simply because we do not produce any goods. We do not have good infrastructure. We cannot even produce a goods that we can be able to meet the demand of the population. There is nothing in Nigeria that has been produced that can be able to meet the population of the country. Only that alone has actually devalued Nigerian money 100%. The reason why government is trying to increase this is because there's a highlight spike that they cannot control. I'm coming. They are professional economics. They are professional accountants. They are working with the government. Oh, they say, oh, let's increase them. It's going to create a balance. There's no balance. Even if you increase the minimum wage to 100,000 naira, there's still going to be any balance. Why? Who's going to pay the minimum wage? The private sector. What do you expect the private sector to pay? Or you think minimum wage doesn't affect the private sector, just government? So now there will be a loss of jobs, and there was the jobs that even are not even there. Because I was in Nigeria like April, and I could see youth were 100% jobless, no job. All they were watching was Premier League, soccer, soccer. I was 100% totally disappointed. If my age generation are totally off, they argue about football, they argue about it, there is nothing to be done. They've lost it. They've totally lost it. Poverty. They've lost it. Don't you see 1 or 2 person driving luxury cars, you think Nigeria is wealthy? 60% of Nigerians they are living below $1. 60% of Nigeria are living below $1, which means that Nigeria is a poor country. And now, 100%. If even the fund that you are seeing, the people that are gainfully employed in Nigeria are not even up to 10%.
Okay.
Then the people that are
let's hear Femi. Femi has not been able to talk since, and a lot of people want to hear Femi's side.
Femi, speak.
We're live.
Let me go ahead.
All right.
Wait, before Femi, let's hear these guys that just joined. Hello? Kelechi.
Hello,
Yeah, go ahead.
sir. No, I just like what you are doing. I just like what you are doing. I just want to be like part of you guys.
All right, God bless you, Kelechi. Thank you for being part of us, guys. Now, waiting they just talk about now, in our Premier League that they watch. Femi, over to you.
All right.
Let me go ahead.
To you, but I can sense you're a data analyst. It's just unfortunate that you were trying to isolate some things. Let me explain it now. You mentioned historical data that is the foundation to it all. I agree with you. Now, know this. The first thing when we are talking about analysis is that we first have what we call the descriptive analysis, which is about what has happened in the past. We have what we call predictive analysis, using the past to explain the future. Now, when you have done that, there is now one aspect of it which you did not talk about, which is prescriptive analysis. Meaning that when there are problems on ground, there must be a solution on ground. For instance, now, let's look at the telecommunication sector. For instance, there were days when Nigeria was heavily depending on Nitel. Over time, when Nigeria was far behind in telecommunication sector, through the likes of intelligent people like Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, we are able to have a telecommunication sector that is privatized, create more jobs, create more system that supports even conversation. It's through that telecommunication liberalization that you and I are able to have conversation here. So I don't want to agree with a no solution aspect of your analysis. I would rather use descriptive, the predictive as well.
Prescriptive.
Right. I believe that if we are going to look everything with our naked eyes, I agree with you, no solution. But if we have to talk from so many theoretical perspectives, through pragmatism, through behavioral economics and co, there must be a solution. And the first thing is, let's study the behavior of Nigerians. One of the behavior of Nigerians is many Nigerians love to study. Even with Japa, they are still abroad studying. Meaning that an average Nigerian, if they are actually educated and you find the right place for them, they are going to perform optimally. So that's why I now told you that it's very important for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to now start looking at what can we do to ensure that the case of minimum wage increase will not be a continuous solution. So through pragmatism and some behavioral economics of a thing, it's possible for us to study ourselves and get some things done. Now, number one of those things we can get done is that fundamentally, we are known for farming, and we have so many farmers going for farming. The only thing we are asking for from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu now is, can you please improve the security of the country? If you improve the security of the country and we have local production, then we will not really care much about minimum wage increase of a thing. Number two, can you please get us a satellite that can remotely sense the earth, and we can also even serve other countries? When we are able to have such kind of solution in the country, we will also be ahead. Now, the third one is that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his caucuses, let me use that word now, they are known for when Mojo, I don't know if you are Yoruba. It means that they are used to
easy.
I'm cool. I don't know about anybody else.
I don't know about anybody else. Now, the Labour, they've made sacrifice, because if you watch the recent news, this was what the Labour said. The Labour said that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu last week gave them an offer. And what was the offer? He said, okay, I'm ready to increase your minimum wage to 250,000 naira. But are you guys also ready for me to allow petrol to be sold at the actual market price, which is 1,002? They said, no, we don't want another protest or another issue in the system. Then we are going to accept 70,000 naira. They've made a sacrifice. Now, we are now saying that Labour has done their best. Can President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his gang, can they now also start making sacrifices? There was a news today that they said the National Assembly, they said they are going to sacrifice part of their sacrifice for 6 months. How much is their salary? compared to allowances. Can they cut the allowances by 50%? Then we know we are ready. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, there was a news last week that they went behind the scene to get a private jet. I don't know if that is true or not. But if that is actually true, this is what we are saying. We need also a leadership by example in Nigeria. And that's where possibilism comes in. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, honestly, today, I can start canvassing for him. If he can say, okay, I am rich already before I become the president of Nigeria. Number one, my allowances, I will cut it. And I will ensure that that money is also diverted to critical infrastructure development. Our mother, Oluremi Tinubu, we all know she has served multiple capacity. If she can also get out her salary, her annual salary, let's also divert it. Then we will say we have a leader who is ready to make sacrifice for us. But if they are not ready to make sacrifice for us, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu does see this as a temporary solution. And you should not forget that if Labour are coming in year 2027 asking for increase in minimum wage, it should not see it as political. It should rather see it as the agreement, because the agreement was we will be reviewing your minimum wage every three years. And 3 years from now is 2027. So I'm begging Bongoli and his gang as well. When we come 2027 to analyze this matter and Labour is requesting for increase in minimum wage, I don't want to hear Pastor Bongoli giving me biblical verse or giving me historical data and telling me they are political. Because Bongoli has tagged the NLC as a political movement. Bongoli is no longer seeing the NLC, which I'm challenging him. If he's online, he can respond. He's not seeing the NLC as a component of societal development. He's rather seeing NLC as a part of obedience, which I don't really truly agree. I see NLC as a system who is actually fighting for the welfare and the betterment of, the employees in the country. But to me, I believe everything is possible only and only if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and his gang can do the right thing. Only and only if Yetunde of APC, Bongoli of APC, Olu of APC, they can also come to Nigeria with the money they make in America to invest in Nigeria. They should walk the talk as well. They should not be abroad and be telling us what is happening in Nigeria. They should also come home to walk the talk. That, in fact, I will tell that the phrase that next one we are going to do clash of supporter. Your passport must be that, are you also in Nigeria in the past 6 months? Don't come and analyze Nigeria for us in America or in UK or in Canada. Come and analyze Nigeria for us.
You know something. You've spoken very well. We're not going to argue about front or back. But the truth is, I want you to understand very clearly, is Nigeria as a country, as Nigerians in diaspora, everyone, it doesn't have to be in Nigeria to actually enact change. You understand? And we all raised up and born in Nigeria. Some of us are traveling to come to Nigeria every year to build property, to contribute, open a hotel, just to create job opportunity for people also, so that the economy can keep moving. But one thing I want you to understand is, I know you're 100% in support of Buhari, Tinubu very well, which I already understand. Okay, but you because for me, this government, if
let me interject you there. People that are watching me know I have never support President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Please.
That's good. Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. So thank you for enlightening me on that. But the truth is, the most important thing problem about Nigeria, it's not mainly, it's just policies, really the policies, and also to be able to regulate price is building infrastructures. If Nigeria can also solve one problem of one infrastructure, which is either lights, that will go a long way to be able to substitute a lot of things. Because now, a lot of people will be losing jobs. The people who are gainfully employed probably might be between 10 to 15%, will drop to 10. So a lot of people will be jobless. With this increase with this spike of Nigerian devaluation of Naira. Let's be pragmatic now. I know we're trying to, let's be prescriptive about some certain things. And, based on predictions, let's build a predictive model based on the descriptive analysis that has already been in place. What I'm saying in a nutshell is, for a government to be able to propel in this present state that Nigeria is right now, if we can be able to have this solution of minimum wage, it's just a temporary issue. It's just a temporary issue that will wobble for some time if the government do not really regulate the price. It will definitely, because the market price is being monopolized not by the government, but by the people. The people increase the price regardless of whatsoever thing that happens. So the most important thing that the government need now, right now, to be able to solve this situation is to be able to push more on farming, so Nigeria can be able to produce export farming products. Then Nigeria has a lot of natural resources. I've been to Ukwila, Owekoro, and where Nigeria have good steel industries that are not functioning. Even in Kogi, Jakarta, all those stops. The truth is, if Nigerians if the government put into those things and start pushing them forward, and start producing goods, it will help in the economical development and the economy of Nigeria. That regulating, creating jobs for people, because it's just jobs, creating jobs for people, and now, okay, nuclear energy for this economy, yeah, we know that's not possible. Which the only thing that we have is windmill, hydropower, and gas plants, and those will not be able to produce even 300,000 megawatts to be able to produce, to be able to feed even quarter of Nigerian simultaneously. So with that, if government want to push more on generating power supply, then it will push more on nuclear and more on gas. So Nigeria can be able to put that. We go a long way to cut crude oil usage, because our crude, we export our crude and we buy the fractional distillation of crude back to Nigeria. Kerosene, oil, fuel, all this is back to Nigeria again. And with having all this back in Nigeria, it has dropped the value of Nigeria. Because I remember during the time of Obasanjo, Goodluck Jonathan, Nigerians sold excess crude, 3 times spike the regular normal price that we normally say. And as at then, Nigeria was the 5th oil producing state in the world. And there were a lot of mismanagement of funds as at then, and even presently till now, which you mentioned, which was not still stated as regard the jets or thing, mismanagement of funds, and now putting money in the right places that is going to cause economical development of the country. But without doing that, it's going to affect Nigerian growth.
See, like I said.
Now, I want to bring somebody from Labour Party. My brother, what party did you support during the election?
Me?
Yeah.
It was PDP.
PDP. Okay, so the two of you are PDP. And we know that it's an APC government. So let's have a balance. If you supported Labour Party, please would like to hear from you. If you supported...
for this presidential election, I was with Labour Party. Yeah, I was with Labour Party. I was with Peter Obi. Peter Obi is my man.
I want us, because you see, let me tell you something here. I'm amazed that the two of you have deep understanding of what's going on in Nigeria. I understand Femi is on the ground. He smells the onion as they burn out for kitchen.
Yeah.
But you are not on the ground. But I still, you see, did you study economics at any level?
Oh, me?
Yes.
No, I'm an engineer, but I'm a data analytics in the tech company in America.
Okay, because of you have some data background, I can see that. The average Nigerian has never taken the time out to study or to try to understand micro and macro economics. It's not that hard. As I believe that as a human being, you should know basic things. You should know basic things about medicine, basic things about law, basic things about aviation, basic things about economics. But the problem with Nigerians is we don't know anything. We just assume with our emotions. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
That's correct.
And our emotions, you see, Albert Einstein's emotions are different from like that young man that joined us live. I just want to be a part of this program. You see, Albert Einstein understands physics. He probably understands mathematics, a bit of chemistry to get to where so even when he's being emotional, He has knowledge backing his emotions. The average Nigerian has ignorance and a lot of emotion and sentiments.
Yes.
Somebody who said to me, Daddy Freeze, Tinubu is Nigeria's biggest problem. The most ignorant statement I've ever heard in my life is, onion was 5 naira before Tinubu came to power. Now it's 500 naira. That is the height of ignorance.
Yeah.
Anybody that makes that statement, I know some of my activists who are brilliant people. I know they do it to play to the gallery. Because unless you don't understand micro and macroeconomics, you will know that the price increase and fluctuations have not been Tinubu's fault 1%, if you ask me. The only thing I will blame Tinubu for now is that private jet. Why are they buying a private jet? That for me, I will not even blame Tinubu for the senators' jeeps. They were signed before he came into power. And he doesn't have any power to say, no, they should not approve their cars. You can't do that. All of you shout P2B will not have allowed it. What did P2B want? They want to carry gun go there. The only person that could have done something about it was Sani Abacha. He would just go to wake up one morning and dissolve all the boards.
That's an autocratic government.
As long as the yacht was necessary. The yacht is not a luxury yacht, it's a navy yacht. The yacht was necessary. The jet was not, in my opinion. When you hear yacht, what comes to your mind is Monaco, somebody sailing. No, it's a navy vessel.
There's a navy vessel.
It's for the navy. And they are supposed to change them regularly. Tinubu can't stop it. Yeah, he lacks the constitutional power to stop the SUVs of the senators.
Yeah. Let me say one thing. Just one.
Oh, yeah, quickly. I don't want to lose my train of thought.
Yeah, I know. Policy plays a very cardinal role in every organization, in every country. Policy. If Tinubu make a policy that will favor one person and the other, if you see during the time of Obasanjo made a policy that there should be no importation of rice. The only person that imports rice in Nigeria for 8 good years was Aliko Dangote. That's why he became so wealthy. Only person, one person importing rice for 8 good years. So policy, if a government make a policy goes a long way to affect the nation, either good or bad. So I would say Tinubu has at least 50% for the problem of Nigeria because of his policy. That's what I would have to say on that.
Okay, so let me go. Let me follow you a little bit on that one. We need to understand that we are in a democracy, and the power of the president is not autocratic.
No. Yeah,
like many of us would like to believe.
You're correct.
He could not stop. There's nothing he could have done to stop the Senate. There's nothing he could do to stop the renovation of their houses. Yeah. There's nothing he can do to stop the. It's annoying that Nigeria is in a state that we are in, and we are seeing all this happen. But you need to understand that much of it went through. It passed the first. I don't know how they take Duam. First stage. Yeah. It don't be like office. Person need like. I remember when I needed an official car when I was in Cool FM. My MD approved it. Do you understand? I will take it to engineer will minute on it. Take it here. Once you get all the approval, even if the car comes at a time when there's no money in the organization, you cannot say you will not get because it's been approved. And it's in my contract. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm telling you? So even if the only thing that can stop me from getting an official car is if the company folds up. But as long as the company is still there, and it was when they were employing me, was part of the things I signed for, there is nothing that can stop it from happening.
One thing that is fresh. One thing I want you to understand is Nigeria is democracy, but Nigeria is practicing presidential system of government, which means authority comes from the seats, from the presidential seats.
No,
most countries.
I think,
I'm coming.
No, there is what they call separation of power.
No, I'm coming. Yeah. No. System of government. No. Separation of power. System of government is either Nigeria practices presidential system of government. So the government, if the government made a policy, the policy will go a long way. Even if it's been passed through bills, it passed through the Senate, more or less this particular government that Tinubu is actually controlling, from the Senate to the everywhere, totally controlled by Tinubu. So it's even way worse. Unlike before, we have different people that checkmate the government in the Senate. But now there's nobody checkmating the government. Whatever Tinubu says, he passed through, and the electorate.
You see,
Executive government, the legislative arm of government, everything is being controlled by Tinubu in this government.
you see, this is it. Actually, there is a constitutional basis for this separation of power. There is a limit to how the executive can interfere in the affairs of the.
Let me finish. You know, let me talk. Finish. That's why I don't.
Sorry. Let that first talk.
So I want people to understand. I want people to understand that we need to apply knowledge and wisdom to all the things we are seeing and hearing, so we don't sound ignorant.
Yeah.
To me, the only thing Tinubu has done wrong since he came into power is the presidential jet. It was his jet.
The jet.
He could have, at this stage and time, we don't need a new jet. And I'm aware they had a BBJ, that's a Boeing business jet. And the Boeing business jet is based loosely or largely, as the case may be, on the 737-800 with larger fuel tanks and all. And I'm a 737-800 simulator pilot. So I know the capacity of it. As far as I'm concerned, the BBJ is one of the finest planes out there. And brand new, a BBJ costs almost $100 million. I would probably have sent the BBJ in for service, maybe spent $10 million, put it in, overhauled it, done everything, and that BBJ, if $10 million worth of investment, or $5 to $10 million worth of investment on that BBJ, would have made it a perfect presidential jet for the next, till his tenure is over.
Yeah.
That he could have done. He did not need, because it is his own, he does not need approval for it. I don't know if I'm connecting.
Yeah,
Really, that's the only thing I've done. The economy has failed. It's not his fault that the economy has failed. You see, that's why I said, do you understand economics at all? Or you are just going into a shop, you are buying biscuits for ₦1 and you are now buying it for ₦8, and then the economy has failed. That's why I said there is macro and micro economics. Anyone that studied economics in university level, or data analysis, or
Social science,
who make the policies of the country, leave the
making, international relations, you will have an idea of what's going on. It is not black and white. There are many factors. Have you sat down to ask yourself? Let me put some factors before you that we cannot. Nigeria's income in the last 10 years, has it increased or decreased? So
it's going down.
Our salary as a country has gone down.
Everything is going down now.
Wait, our population increase or decrease?
Yes, it's increasing.
So our salary, let me break this down to you in a way you can understand, because you know Greek go school. I'm not talking about the two of you.
No, we get you.
Arguing at home.
Yeah, we understand you.
Your papa, they earn 100,000 naira a month 10 years ago. That 100,000 naira a month, you reach una chop. Una before. Because your papa don't say that 100,000 naira na plenty money that time, your papa come marry second wife. Her first pikin, where she go born na twins, 2 boys. Your mama begin panic. Say, second wife don't born 2 boys. She too must born her own boy. She born 1 girl. She born twins girl. Then she finally born boy. So your mother don't drop 8 children, give your papa. The other woman now too, they compete. So if anything happens to her twin, she not get back up. Before you know it, she too don't born 8 children. The problem is you don't even have 100,000 again. Now you have 71,000 and you have 16 children. That is the layman's explanation for Nigeria's first and basic problem. Revenue decline, population increase. First. Now we are under-policed. Our military is not where it used to be.
Of course.
So civilian militia, they threaten state military and police. Boko Haram, headsmen, all those. What is that doing? It is reducing the people's ability to farm. It is reducing people's ability to work. It is taking a plunge at the transport sector because some places transport no they go anymore. It reach one time where they carry people where they use government train, carry everybody, they can't release them one, everybody they pay ransom. So inside your papa 16 children, where your papa now they earn 17,000. Out of the 16 children, thief can't be among them.
That difference. What's going on?
No. I want the laymen to understand this thing.
That difference, no.
No. This is the only way you will get to understand it. Somebody don't send me.
That difference, no.
Money.
Let me say this, yes, that difference. Let me say this. You know, our forefathers, even in the 80s, 60s, we knew the more they increase in population.
Wait, I've not finished yet. So inside your papa children will be 16. They come begin, they kidnap themselves. That your papa salary will no reach your papa. Chop. Take care of the 16 of you plus 2 wives. Remember, he was earning 100,000, 1 wife and 4 children. And the money was surplus. Now, he's earning 71,000, 16 children and 2 wives. Inside, we get thief where they thief your papa money. As the salary they come out, papa put her under bed. Some children don't go first, thief half. Run. That's our crooked politicians that are eating the little that is left. Inside that small, let's say it remains 40,000. Inside that 40,000 where it remain, your papa children, they kidnap themselves, collect ransom from your papa. You are now left with 20,000 naira. That now when your papa decides say na new car in one come buy. But before your papa come buy this new car, he first take half of the money, sponsor in grandmama go Hajj. Explain how.
Comment you. That is not comment with this.
Baba, I can only break it down to you like that.
I understand what you're saying.
95 billion naira was spent on Hajj.
I understand what you're saying.
Ask me if it makes this amount of sense.
No sense.
As a matter of fact, I think the private jet makes more sense than Hajj. I'm sorry. Hajj
let me say this.
And pilgrimage to Israel, I think should be scrapped indefinitely.
Let me say something. Let me say something. Population is our strength. Population is Nigerian strength.
Now that's what I said.
Yeah.
Population would be our strength when we can farm.
No.
Population will be our strength if we can use the resources. We can't. So it can become a weakness. It become a hunchback.
Yeah,
our population now be our hunchback.
Yeah, if the government, if the government release policies on a lot of incentives when it comes to farming. In the Western world, there are a lot of incentives when it comes to farming. Even if you come to America and you're working in the farm, 5 years, they give you a green card because you're working in the farming sector. I'm talking about the immigration aspect now. Hold on. The incentives when it comes to farming must be well optimized. In Nigeria, anybody that does farming, either you are poor or you are extremely very wealthy to do a mechanized farming. You understand? If there are a lot of policies and incentives to farming, that population would help a lot. Look at China today. China is becoming one of the world's strongest because of their population. Americans have been moving all their factories to China for decades. Thought that they were looking for cheap laborers, having 10, 15 people to equate one citizen of America because of labor. Instead of paying one American citizen, you decide to pay 15 China person, and they will get the work done. Looking for cheap labor. Now, because both factories over the years have moved to China, it has developed China over the years to become what it is today. So now Nigeria is strong. They call them the giant of Africa because of our population. Now Nigeria is well populated to do anything. Any business in Africa cannot survive without Nigeria. No business in Africa will survive without having Nigeria in it. So we control everything, the market, the population. We control everything. What the government needs, I know even within ourselves, we fight ourselves a lot. You know, we're looking at every little opportunity to even extort our neighbor, which probably means that's the general masses. But the government creates a policy, and also incentives in areas that we are lacking to increase the population of that people in that aspect. We go a long way to help Nigeria.
Yeah, I think I agree with that phrase in an area or in the aspect of population. Actually, one of those issues that keep compounding the problem we have in this country is lack of population control. You know, when the population is not actually controlled, obviously, there will be excessive demand on supply. And as a result, you know, there will actually be limited resources, you know, to manage everything. But you see, we can blame the citizen in that area. But let's not forget one thing here. First, political population. No, we have economic population and political population in Nigeria. Let me explain it to you. In Nigeria, population is functional politically. If you want to win in election, just ensure that your vote, you can win Kano.
Yeah, geopolitical arrangements, yeah.
You understand? Those are the, well, you know, political population. But we don't actually have the economic population. But we cannot still blame it only on the, you know, the family, the household. We can also blame the government for it. And this is why I say we can blame the government for it. Now,
in Africa,
we can blame the government for it is that if you look at Nigeria very well, we have more monopolistic market. And the barriers of entry for competitor is very, very high. Like cement industry for now, like manufacturing industry for now. So even at that, when there are lesser companies even operating in the country, the population will be underutilized. So to me, if I were to make comment on what Adifri said, I would say I agree with him that we have
no. Sorry, let me cut you that. No, I'm sorry about it. Let me cut you on that. Do you know the natural resources that Nigeria has? I was one of the best students when it comes to geography way back in Nigeria when I was in high school. Geopolitical natural resources that Nigeria has limestone for construction. Limestones in large form that I'm coming. These are materials we need population. I'm coming. Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold on. We need population to be able to actually extract those limestones from the rock from different places. Then now we have metals. Do you know that metal company in Jakarta, since the existence has not been functioning till today?
You're not getting my point.
No, I get you. I'm telling you now. I'm coming. Population is our strength. I'm coming. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Let me explain something to you.
All right. Go ahead.
Is one thing for natural resources to exist. Is another thing for it to be explored. Our natural resources are not explored just because of the monopolistic power of government. The industrialization aspect that is even encouraging private sector participation is also highly monopolized. And that will also ensure that population is underutilized economically. Now, you reacted to something. Let me quickly go to that before you react. Okay. I talked about the other time, and you know, you made a defense. Let me explain what you see Bongoli is my guy, a very smart guy, a very intelligent guy. You know, Bongoli has everything you needed when it comes to public affairs analysis. everything logical, he has it. And those are components of certain intelligence. But you see, when you are an analyst, there is an analysis that you need secondary data for, which you don't need to be on ground to, make your extrapolation, interpolation, and any deductive and what's it called, other kind of reasoning you want to make.
Yeah, logical reasons.
Yes, there are some kind of things that you need as well to understand the population very well, which is the primary data. You must come close in contact with your population understudy to be able to explain certain things. And that was why I told you that it's not enough to use secondary data for whatsoever you want to use it for. I need Bongoli to come on ground, feel the emotion of an average Nigerian, see some things face to face. That's what we call native intelligence. If we can do that, we can start agreeing on certain things. But if it's still, the best place Bongoli has been going, because he has been accusing Atiku of going to Dubai, the best alternative for my friend Bongoli is Canada. I need him in Nigeria to come on ground. Let's see face to face and talk about Nigerian matter. Together.
No, that's not like that.
On the last note, the point here is that if we don't have population control, some of Nigerian problems cannot be solved.
How many are we?
Millions, like over 300 million.
No, we are over 200 something million. We're not up to 300 million. Do you know how many million China is? China. A billion.
China is in the billions.
Over a billion.
Okay.
So if you're talking about ordinary 200 and something million that we cannot control population, and we have all the natural resources compared to even around place of the world, I'm coming, bro. Yeah, I think there's a lot of excuses that's coming in with that. I really do not really like. I want you to understand the fact that Nigerian has a lot of natural resources. Now, if the government make a policy and incentives, listen to me, because there's some jobs. I know we have geopolitical zones that actually monopolize these resources. And that is why the government has to make a policy. In the Western world, in America, we is California. There's a spot in California that has crude oil. It's called Bakersfield. It has crude oil. They have more crude than even Nigeria. But you know the problem they have? They have so much sulfur content in their crude.
Their crude oil is dirty.
So it takes them a lot of time, a lot of cost to extract that sulfur from that crude. Now, let me go back to Nigeria. And because you've been mentioning, for we to talk about Nigeria, we have to be in Nigeria. I was in Nigeria. I just left Nigeria. I didn't leave Nigeria because I was looking for Jackpot. You understand? I did not leave Nigeria for that reason. I want you to understand the fact that the truth is, what is happening to Nigeria is the government policy. Policy affects everything in the government, especially in the presidential system of government. Now we have the population to exploit whatsoever goods we want to do when it comes to rubber. I remember when I was small, we have a lot of rubber. I'm coming. During the Bend Estate, I know Nigerian history a lot. I did geography. I know the history a lot. I'm coming. Hold on. When Bend Estate, when they start dividing,
do you get it? Ask a question to expatiate your point.
Okay, good.
You see, our policy matter.
I know it matters. I know. I didn't dispute that fact.
No. Let me ask you some question. Are you aware that there are some policy on ground in Nigeria?
A lot of policies in Nigeria now. That's what I'm saying. A lot of policies in Nigeria that does not benefit the country itself. So those policies they are affecting the economy from growing. Because if you want to now listen now, we have Inoso Motors. I'm coming. You have Inoso cars. We have Dangote trying to build up a refinery in Nigeria. All those are incentives that if policies is being placed on ground, it will help to help Nigerian indigenous production company. So
okay, tell me one policy that has been implemented, what's it called, that has been implemented in the private sector, for instance.
In the private sector? Okay.
Don't worry, continue with your thoughts.
No. If you want to expand yourself, go ahead, explain yourself. Let me get it.
What I'm saying is you've been talking about policies.
Yes. Tell me the policy.
There are
the private policy.
Policies on ground, fiscal policy, on ground.
Which are the particular way you're actually referring to?
The problem we are having in this country, like I said, is that we have bulk of policy on ground, but the problem is exploration of the population.
Incentives. That's where incentive comes in. That's what I said. Incentives. Now, if you want to exploit farming, you give farmers incentives. You make sure that the people are secured. I'm coming. Even
no,
if I'm coming, hold on.
That's where Daddy Freeze now said, this incentive you're talking about has been given to several farmers in Nigeria.
I know. But the government that they want taking it now,
The
they
government
share it among themselves with that farming. We know these things now.
Crop subsidy. Do you know the amount of money the government pay on crop subsidy? Do you know the amount of things government pay to farmer on mechanized farming? You see, the first problem that Chris is also talking about is that the system itself has a high level of corruption.
We know.
Both at the top, bottom. You know, see, the corruption at the bottom was what that Chris was saying, that if you want to go and buy something now, the moment they tell you that something happened in Nigeria, before you get to the market, they would have increased the price times 20.
Times 20.
You
Yes,
know,
I said it.
Corruption. Even when nothing is happening in the market, there is a way, there is a behavioral economics that just explain that thing, all in the name of corruption. So now, I'm not saying that a way forward in this country, we have hundreds of that can actually get us moving in this country. But there are changes that are expected. For instance, do you know that there are so many corrupt public officers that, the government has actually tried to rake money from them? Where are those money? Where is being spent to? Who are those using it? How is it added to our budget instead of borrowing? We don't have breakdown of that. You understand now? That's number one. Number two, another thing is that our problem is still a problem of bureaucracy. Look at what was happening a few days ago. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said, okay, we are giving local government the autonomy. That's another policy, a public policy on autonomy. Now, the government themselves, the governor themselves, some of them are not still okay with that. So meaning that we have enough of policies on ground. What we need at the top level and the bottom level is attitudinal changes. You understand? Attitudinal changes. If we don't have attitudinal changes, trust me sincerely, no matter the new policy you want to implement, it will not work.
How are we going to have that?
Attitudinal changes, it comes from several avenues. Number one avenue, that the first one we need, let me start breaking it down from general to specific. The first one we need is the NOA, National Orientation Agency. They have to work very hard. You know what I mean? Work very hard. They have to work cross-board. One. Number two, we need the judicial institution itself to also change the way they manipulate judgment. That the Freeze was talking about a particular judgment recently. I don't want to talk about that. But, he mentioned the corruption in it.
Talk about it, you.
Now
their papa, they want cheat, no be me.
So, that particular judgment was talking about, and that case was talking about, there was attitudinal problem in it. When you see the right thing to do, but you choose to go otherwise so that you can favor the other people. So now, in the judicial system, we also need a great cleanup in that system. That is another form of attitudinal changes. Number three, now, the place of religion. I do say one thing. I said, what is the value of a religion that bolster your faith when you need something from God, but reduce your faith during election time? If politicians are inducing you with 5,000, 3,000, 2,000, a choir leader, an alpha, etc., they will collect all those money during that time. They will say, why not let us first get that money and see whether attitudinal changes will produce a result or not? Number
poverty.
three,
it's poverty.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu now, we need him to make EFCC to be stronger than before. If EFCC is stronger than before, and we see people that they carry today, they complete their case in 1 year, in 6 months, trust me sincerely, everybody will sit up. But if all these existing framework are not handled appropriately, when pastors, EFCC chairman said something, he said there are some pastors in this country that they themselves, They are even using their post, you know, to even take money to their pocket. Yes, is the chairman.
Yes.
That's what he said. No. So he said that. So
but there's immunity when it comes to pastors. There's always immunity, even in the Western world. Yeah, immunity. Even when it comes to the Western world, they have immunity too.
well, I am not aware of that, so I wouldn't want to argue. Even if there are, what we are now saying is that pastor that preach the word of God should also have the fear of God. He should also exhibit what it. Not every time that we need government intervention to have attitudinal changes. The fear of God, the love for people, the love for others.
Anyway, guys, I'm still coming back in 2 hours, so we could just round them up.
Yes,
here.
let's round it up.
Thank you very much for coming through. Thank you, Femi. I don't know if we're going to continue the topic in the evening. If Bongoli is around, maybe we just would.
Yeah.
Thank you all